Hello, hello, beautiful people and better gamers. It's time for a match that many have been excited for all weekend long. NaNiwa versus ThorZaIN, Swede on Swede.
Yeah, I mean, two very, very talented individuals. Definitely a high contrast in play styles, as we've seen ThorZaIN with a very meticulous and very careful style of play. NaNiwa sometimes going with that ultra aggression, but also having a very, very strong late game. How will these two actually clash? We're going to find out. And here are the updated brackets.
Yeah, as you can see, currently Protoss performing very well. JYP Sase in the semifinals. And in the lower bracket, two Protosses hanging out as well, NaNiwa and Parting. NaNiwa and ThorZaIN are going to be duking it out right now for your viewing pleasure, starting out on Antigua Shipyard with, of course, loser picking the map. And after that, we're going to be doing Parting versus Rhett. And I'm very interested to see the way in which Parting will be able to cope with the new style that I've even been seeing Rhett practice all morning long.
I mean, one thing also that, let's remind folks is that ThorZaIN's focus was kind of on doing stuff with his units. Always having the ability, great micro, good control and stuff. But you know what? There's these points in the games. Do I drop? How do I drop effectively? Something that he'd really focused on and tried to practice over the course of this weekend. Will that come into play today? We're bound to see here very, very soon. And NaNiwa has just shown us a slew of different styles out of himself just this weekend. I mean, of course, overall, but this weekend where we saw the ultra aggressive and we saw the long game, the mid game, the 2-base, the 1-base, the 3-base, the proxy. I mean, I just don't know what you're going to get, and that makes him a very deadly opponent.
I mean, in this tournament, he's literally done everything but pro brush. Zing. No, honestly, though, NaNiwa, I want to talk a little bit about his style in terms of practicing.
Sure.
NaNiwa is the sort of player that where most people would say, oh, my strategy doesn't work. I can't do it anymore. What NaNiwa does is says, no, you know what, let me work a little harder on here. Let me work a little bit harder on here. And as a result, NaNiwa can pretty much do any build really well with weird adjustments to them that you wouldn't see from anywhere else. He would do things like just send units to the corners of the map randomly you wouldn't see. And then, boom, he manages to catch a medevac. He'll build a pylon in an odd position so he can warp in just right. And there, NaNiwa, as you can see, is one of the players who is most meticulous with his setup and why he's able to perform most consistently.
Yeah, very meticulous, and also left-handed, which is just kind of cool. We don't see too many gamers on the circuit that currently rock that. There you can see. It's like, no, he's not doing it wrong. That's actually how NaNiwa plays, and very, very effective in doing so as well. So we're going to get this game started. As you mentioned, Antigua Shipyard is going to be map number 1, as required in all round of 8 matches. I'm ready to rock and roll. We ready? We doing this?
Well, it looks like NaNiwa actually says that there is some sort of mis-setting going on his computer, so we're just going to make sure everything's set up with that.
Okay.
So until then, DJ Wheat, tell us a little bit about the matches you recently casted with ThorZaIN.
I mean, of ThorZaIN, some of the things that we saw this weekend, they call him the spoon Terran, right? This the Terran who will kind of scoop away at his opponent. He'll move across the map very, very methodically. But we've also seen this weekend him get a little bit aggressive, try some multi-prong drops here and there while attacking at the front. And I think that's kind of what he really is aiming for over the course of his training here, is that to be more active, to make those smarter decisions, and not just have the army, but then let his opponent do whatever they want. And
Yeah. I mean, what's funny about ThorZaIN is he's trying to incorporate more of those drops, specifically Terran vs. Zerg, as he was doing in his challenge, which seemed pretty effortless for him. But humorously enough, he was even saying, hey, I don't really need a drop in Terran vs. Protoss. I'm already really, really comfortable in that matchup. So might be doing the slow, methodical sort of play. Looks like ThorZaIN has confirmed he's ready. NaNiwa's confirmed he's ready, which means that you and me are ready.
We are ready.
Oh, baby. I can't wait to see what's in store. Ladies and gentlemen, it's NaNiwa versus ThorZaIN, the two strongest players in Sweden, according to many.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, Sweden always being on the map in terms of esports for very strong players, having some of the best Quake players, some of the best Counter-Strike players, and following suit in that with some phenomenal StarCraft 2 players as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sweden, in my book, definitely up there as probably the country right next to Korea as far as StarCraft 2 is concerned.
Absolutely. In the bottom right corner, we have the Spoon Terran pausing the game. So we're going to go ahead and wait for him to sort out whatever issue it was that he was having, and we'll end up popping back in. Now, this map, Antigua Shipyard, it is the cross-map only edition, so that means that no close spawns are available.
Yeah, and of course, both players knowing that for different races, that can be advantageous, but we'll have to see exactly what we're going to do here in this matchup as we get started in just a moment.
Looks like the game has potentially been resumed, but ThorZaIN looks like he might want a... Let me just make sure that he's actually ready. All okay? Or shall we wait? I guess you would want to have your settings absolutely perfect before you ended up stepping into a match like this. Looks like ThorZaIN's just going to give a good old and try to sort out what it is that he wants to do. NaNiwa's joking, hey, if you can hear the sound, it's okay. I don't mind.
He says he doesn't mind. But, guys, if you haven't, if you've just joined us here for day 3, you kind of missed out on some great 2 days of training. One of the other phenomenal things that was here that I personally loved was the interviews that were done at the beginning of this event. We got to hear a lot about ThorZaIN's history. I learned a ton about him and his father and how his father was sort of this legacy in terms of being a part of competitive gaming online that kind of brought ThorZaIN into it, having played Quake and Unreal Tournament, was in a clan as well. We got to hear a lot about Hasuobs and his funny story about where his name came from that he apparently stole from. So yeah, I was listening to that Hasuobs
right there,
and but he still is held on to it. So I mean, some great stuff. All those videos will be available later on, and where we'll be able to find those on Day 9 TV, of course, once they're all uploaded in super crispy, awesome, high-def quality.
That is correct. Go to day9.tv for the VODs or redbullusa.com/LAN for all the action throughout the day. And it looks like the game is resumed, so we're going to go ahead and hop right back into it. In the bottom corner, from Sweden, the focus player who crushed yesterday, it is mousesports ThorZaIN.
And up in the northwest position as the blue Protoss. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Quantic NaNiwa.
Now, NaNiwa is, of course, very experienced with all varieties of one-gate expand in this matchup. He has said multiple times that he doesn't think that you can actually win in this matchup with ease unless you do that one-gate expand. I mean, we do see players like Hero go for that crazy style of, you know, aggressive Void Rays, aggressive Phoenixes, but I wouldn't be surprised that even at this early stage to see no additional geyser go down by NaNiwa. Looks like ThorZaIN, has put on some music. That's great. And let me just say, I hope to God it's the StarCraft 1 Terran music.
I hope so, too.
God, Terran. Oh, man. Every time I was playing 2v2v2v2s on big game hunters, I would choose random because I was a badass in that game, Marcus. And if I spawned Terran, I would immediately turn on Terran music and give everyone a little blip of lag as my CD started to spin.
Nice. Very, very nice. Those were the days. I'll tell you what. Those were indeed the days. So, yep, cross only is indeed accurate. NaNiwa just verifying it. And actually, NaNiwa does usually verify just every single time just to make sure, and rightfully so. You don't want to assume anything, but always good information going into it as well. Now, you had mentioned that ThorZaIN was pretty comfortable as far as his TVP was concerned. And if you didn't know a little bit about their history, these guys actually faced off in the Team Liquid Star League Season 3, where they had, you know, an epic little battle. There's some awesome videos that accompany the engagement that they had, and it was quite good. So definitely, if you want to see ThorZaIN and NaNiwa play some checkers and chess, check out that video.
Oh, NaNiwa, interestingly, not going for a Stalker first. Instead, just going to be going Zealot, Sentry, Expand. And I would not be surprised to, again, see NaNiwa do nothing but build sentries at this point. The style that he likes to use is to do pushes between 7 and 9 minutes in this matchup. And what that means is that the Terran is defending so much that it's too difficult to build up enough units to do drops with Medivacs. So it looks like NaNiwa will be rounding that off with Sentry number 2. And of course, to do that huge aggressive push, you have to have Sentry energy built up quite early. And it looks like ThorZaIN is going to be just getting macro mode started right away.
Yeah, which is, kind of typical. Meanwhile, we've got NaNiwa. And again, you talked a little bit about the spreading of gateways in various matchups. And this is one where he's just kind of like keeping a couple gateways off to the side. He does have this proxy pylon just above the rocks that's over by the third, and he's going to start to move those forward, which is something that we see very often out of these Protoss. Just in case one gets discovered, they're going to have a backup in order to be able to warp in. That probe might actually even try to sneak into the corner here. And
oh, wow.
Nice. He's going to get a great scout off. Oh, spotted.
He does get spotted. He might just try to go nuts and throw down a pylon, but no, nothing of the sort. ThorZaIN is actually trying to throw down these 2 add-ons, but NaNiwa is going to be striking with this 3-gate push very swiftly. Did manage to even get that expand up as well, doing great work with that. There comes 2 more sentries as well. So NaNiwa can easily get a good set of force fields down with all those force field energy saved up.
I mean, right now we do have the barracks down with a reactor, and of course one with a tech lab, currently getting stim right now. Just take a look at the vision of both of our players, just kind of see what they see at this point. Looking at the mini-map, ThorZaIN not really much besides the main base, and of course his own natural.
Oh no! It looks like ThorZaIN moving forward. He might be very, very caught off guard by this. He does spot this pylon, but does he think he has enough time? No, he makes the smart decision, pulling back, playing it safe, not getting too risky. Is producing a lot of units, getting that engineering bay, another barracks nearing completion, but will he have it done in time?
And the SCV scouts yet again sees another warp in, now trying to find where is the rest of the army, because that's also great information to know if you're trying to defend this. And NaNiwa actually sneaks right past that SCV, and he's still wondering where is he going, and he's going to find out right now as these units start to pop up at his front door.
And it looks like there's the force field set that he needs. We see the Mule trying to work the way around the front, but no, NaNiwa's not going to have any of that. ThorZaIN not stimming, doesn't even have stim done yet, but we see that force from NaNiwa getting very, very potent. Another nice set of force fields. ThorZaIN run amok all around, and at this point in time, NaNiwa is just slowly pulling ahead in the worker count, or, oh, that's what he would have loved to have done if he'd been chrono boosting that, but no, now chrono boosting all the warp gates. This is a big edge that you can get if you're doing exchanges again and again and again and again. If I can kill off a couple of your workers, even though neither of us are teching, I'm getting ahead in the worker count.
Yeah, additionally, just the fact that that attack came right before stim was done was actually a little bit too bad here for ThorZaIN. He's trying to get that first bunker up that did fall down. More Zealots going to be warping in here. And we see those SCVs just preparing not only to buffer, but also get the repair on.
Oh,
is this bunker
stim's
done. Complete?
Stim is done. It looks like ThorZaIN has yet to do that stim. NaNiwa just has so many units on 3 base. Are we actually going to see any stim at all from ThorZaIN? It looks like NaNiwa is going to waltz right past with this brutal early game aggression. Just 3 gateways worth of units, but still so much. There's the stim. Doesn't even need to worry about having medevacs or not, as the SCVs are absorbing the brunt of the damage, but there's just so many units for NaNiwa. The ThorZaIN is going to be pulling back. NaNiwa waltzing up the ramp, and ThorZaIN in an atrocious position.
Yeah, I mean, NaNiwa still doing just so much damage from within. ThorZaIN trying to micro these units back and forth from the bunkers, also trying to protect the top of his ramp. Already he has lost 23 SCVs in this brutal attack from NaNiwa, and NaNiwa is going to be able to walk in and start to do significant damage to the main.
At this point, NaNiwa can literally do almost anything he wants. It's going to be really tough for ThorZaIN to be able to hold. NaNiwa just brilliant with this attack timing, now streaming on in, and that is why he got that sentry count up so high so early. The number of force fields he was able to throw down was game-breaking. It was so solid.
Yeah, and of course, being able to take those bunkers out, not having stim, all these things combined just made this for a beautiful timing from NaNiwa. SCV's trying to get back into the pack. He might actually clean this up, but we're going to be able to see just sort of the type of damage that was done. 60 units killed by NaNiwa, 30 workers. There is the cleanup. Yep. But, oh, we even have the, we're not cleaned up quite yet. This dirty zealot over here needs to be taken care of. He's still wreaking havoc. Any SCV that popped out of this orbital unfortunately fell to that one guy.
And we do see NaNiwa now going for 1-1 upgrades. Blink. He has sentries stockpiled up at home. ThorZaIN's going to try to stay in the game. And again, this is the practice LAN. This is a tournament. But if you imagine that you're going to be playing in a tournament next week with a lot tougher competition for a lot longer days, you got to wonder, how can I practice all that sort of, intense focus? Now's the time that the ThorZaIN's really taking that opportunity to get those sort of game practices in.
Yeah, keeping these units active. What did we have there at the front? What was that? Just the SCV scouting, I believe. Either way, we've seen the unification of these units as NaNiwa is going to be bringing these sentries down to assist with the stalkers. Right now at the front, there's still no bunkers up. ThorZaIN just trying to get his worker count back to normal. Currently 24 to 54, 30 probes higher than his opponent. Not looking good for ThorZaIN, but as you mentioned, you want to keep going, practicing before an event, although there is a sort of tournament and money involved here. He's going to give it his all.
ThorZaIN style, slow and steady. Going to try to rebuild as calmly as he can. 1-1 ups. Already finished from NaNiwa, 2-2 ups.
Wow.
He's getting Blink to defend against drops. He's getting Zealot legs to do a follow-up push. Everything is covered by NaNiwa right now, and that's really the hallmark of an expert player. He knows he did game-ending damage with that first attack, but he's not going to try to end it now. He's going to end it when there's a guaranteed win, and he's 2-2.
Yeah, and unlike earlier when we saw just an amazing comeback by Hasuabs after being down by several bases, I think that this one is going to be much, much more difficult. Now, this is the type of thing right here that could possibly help him put ahead, but as this wisely placed pylon is spotting, 2 medevacs loaded up, he is going to easily be able to take that out uncontested, but he knows about it, and that takes away that element of surprise. You can already see up in NaNiwa's base, we've got the stalkers that are at attention and ready for any medevacs that might float on in.
Zealot leg speed nearing completion. ThorZaIN, I don't actually think wants to really do that much damage right now. He just wants to get at least in a comfortable position and maybe just lock himself into defense mode. I mean, at this point, ThorZaIN has so few options. He's just going to go for crazy upgrades, see if he can get a lead in that fashion, and maybe doom drop to this backside. And it looks like NaNiwa's Blink Stalkers are a touch out of position.
And here we go, dropping right in. The Zealots will immediately charge forward. Has just completed. The upgrades are going to be completing here for 2-2 as well. And he just picks up, and drops them in the back. Great move there by ThorZaIN, warping in some more Zealots and using those force fields to his advantage yet again. Unfortunately, the Zealots being just funneled just into the one area, and quite a bit was lost there, but the Stalkers finally came and saved the day.
1-1 done right now, 2-2 inches from finishing, and there it is, 2-2 done. How long will it take for NaNiwa to start 3-3? Would not be surprised if it is within the next 10 seconds. NaNiwa so sharp on staying on all those upgrades. A drop attempt by ThorZaIN gets completely shut down. And, I mean, ThorZaIN may very well just have to say to himself, I've already lost this game, but I'm just going to keep playing just to get that little bit of extra cooldown time in the match.
Sure, you never want to just GG out, go into a second game heated or just not focused. And we do see a lot of players do this right now. I mean, I don't think that ThorZaIN actually believes that there's some sort of miracle play, some Hail Mary that could throw him back into this game, but that's not without trying. He's still scouting with that factory to see exactly what he's going to see. Was there a mistake anywhere? But here comes the force from the front, and this is going to end it.
There's the blink and the good game. NaNiwa takes a convincing win in game number 1 and really demonstrates a common weakness in a ton of early game Terran versus Protoss play. Terran players tend to rely on the 3 units at a time defense. I either build 3 barracks, so I'm building 3 Marines at a time, or 2 barracks with 1 reactor, so I'm still building 3 units at a time. And NaNiwa showing, well, yeah, I'm going to go 3-gate, and I'm just going to crush down the front door. There's really not that much that you can do. There's NaNiwa in the booth. Behind him, you see ThorZaIN going through the map set, trying to decide what he wants to choose. I think ThorZaIN, who traditionally relies on very well-refined, very honed-in builds, he's going to have to figure out some way to defend against exactly that kind of push.
Yeah, and it's not going to be easy. I mean, he had the right idea, getting that second bunker up, but the timing of his stim just a few seconds behind to be able to use that in defense as well. I mean, it was solid. I don't know. I mean, ThorZaIN certainly probably, you can see the gears are turning up in